The Knicks lost another close game. Now 17-17 on the season. 16-19. We got 15-19 games on the road coming up. We're going to talk about it right now. What's going on, my New York Knicks fans? What's popping? Tough game, tough loss, and that's a tough one to get over because we should have had it. We was right there in the fourth quarter. Had the lead throughout the whole game. And, yeah, Miles G, choke artist. That's what we did tonight. We definitely choked. Yo, Black, it's time. It's definitely time, even though I cut off my intro a little bit early because I was excited, wanted to get back in here. But, man, disappointed with this loss. Definitely disappointed with this loss. But let's get a proper introduction, man. I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas. I know I enjoyed mine. I spent a lot of time with family. It was beautiful. I had a great time. Even though the Knicks lost on Christmas, I still had a great time with my family. So I hope you did the same. And now it's time to get back to business with the Knicks. Not a good way to get back to business, but we back to business nonetheless. All right? So let's talk about this. Yes, I'm with all of you, man. This really, really got me hot. There's no way we should have lost this game. This was our game to win. We led the whole game, and we blew it down the stretch once again. You guys see it up there, fourth quarter execution. Once again, blew it down the stretch. We need a leader down the stretch. Right now, we're not getting a leader down the stretch. Jarrett Jack wasn't in the game. Frank was out there for most of the fourth quarter. Besides, until after he fouled out. And, the way it is right now, nobody led, right? Nobody led. Nobody took control of the reins. And you can see the indecision in the fourth quarter, But we're going to talk about this fourth quarter. But I just want to take a quick look at, what the game looked like. Right? And just take a quick look at it. See what we're doing here. Here we go. We had a lead of 15 once again. A big lead in this game. They led by 5. That's their biggest lead. We shot 17% from 3. 40.7% from the field. They shot 40.7% from the field. Let's see where we at with free throws. 9 of 13. They were 12 of 16. Neither one of us really were aggressive getting to the line. Did okay on the boards. 51 to 50 on the boards. 21 assists, not bad. Only 12 turnovers. We played well most of the game until the fourth quarter. That fourth quarter execution is killing us every time. Every game right now, the fourth quarter execution is killing us. And I'm not sure what we're going to do about it. We've got to do something about it. Because if not, we're not going to be successful on the road. We got some important games coming up. Right now, we're into the most important stretch of the season. This stretch right here is going to make us or break us. This is going to tell us who we are. It's going to tell us the type of team that what to look forward to. Are we looking forward to the lottery or are we looking forward to the playoffs? This right here is going to tell us this stretch. We got 15 of the next 19 games coming up on the road. And it's not like we're going on the road and playing soft teams. Tonight was supposed to be a soft spot in our schedule. Right, and it ended up not being a soft spot in our schedule. The Bulls match up with us well, and we struggle against them, at least so far this year. So now we're going to find out who we really are. We're going to see who we really are. Fourth quarter execution, let's talk about it. What are you guys seeing in the fourth quarter? That's you said looking like lottery. We'll see, man. This stretch is going to tell us. It's going to tell us everything we need to know about this team, this stretch coming up. Man, the indecision in the fourth quarter is killing me. There was one point in the fourth quarter, and I didn't feel like pulling up the clip because I didn't think you guys want to look at it. Actually, I did want to pull it up. They just didn't get the game up in time, and I wanted to hurry up and get on. But there was a point in the fourth quarter. Frank had the ball at the top of the key. KP was kind of at the elbow. Courtney Lee was in the corner. And they were looking at each other like, where are we going? What are we doing? What's the call? We ended up just throwing the ball to Courtney Lee, and he ended up just, trying to make a couple of moves, and I think we turned the ball over. But it's happening time and time again in the fourth quarter that we're indecisive and we don't know what we're doing. We're lost. I'm not sure if we're not going over it in practice. I know earlier in the season when we were 0-3, Courtney Lee said guys don't know the plays, or I don't know what's going on. But in the fourth quarter, we're playing bad basketball, real bad. Daniel saying the defense. The defense wasn't too bad. We gave up 92 points. That's not bad. We did maybe give up a few shots in the fourth quarter or down the stretch, but I think more so was the offensive execution, not being able to get shots. We're getting terrible shots up and turning the ball over in the fourth quarter. Less ball movement. Vincent Crespo. Exactly. We go through stretches of the game where we have great ball movement, and then we go through stretches of the game where we just get stagnant, and we throw the ball in the KP and stand there and watch, almost like we did with Melo, right? Or we give it to Beasley and stand there and watch, almost like we did with Melo. We've got to cut. We need to be in constant movement. We need to be in constant movement, constant ball movement. We don't need to just always throw the ball in to KP. And a lot of times it's happening. We just don't. I know maybe, part of what we're doing is throwing it in to KP so he can pass it out of the double team, but it's not working right now. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep the ball movement going. Ball movement, ball movement, ball movement. And we're getting stagnant in the fourth quarter. Real stagnant in the fourth quarter. Daniel, you're saying fourth quarter defense was horrible. Yeah, we gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter. That's not terrible, but you're right. We let some shots get off that we shouldn't have let get off. We gave up a couple of open threes. I agree with you. I just think that our offensive execution was a little worse. Vincent, you say if the Knicks fall off the playoff season, do you see the Knicks getting rid of Jeff? No, I don't think so. I think that they looked at this season as a developmental season, a season to develop. Not exactly tank. I'm not saying tank. I'm saying a season to develop and a season to actually see what they have. I believe sometime back Jeff talked about a 3-year plan, and I think that we're seeing some of the things that Steve Mills and Scott Perry wants to see from the team as far as hard work. They play defense. They're hustling. They come to play every night. You're going to have some nights when it doesn't look like where they look like they don't have the energy. That's going to happen. But for the most part, they play every night. So I think Jeff is getting those things out of them. But we've got to do something about this fourth quarter execution. James, we blew a 15-point lead. 15-point lead. And I don't. How many leads have we blown this year? We've blown leads all season long. Part of it is because we're developing and we're young, and we've got to, learn how to handle prosperity, learn how to take care of those leads. But man, I mean, how many times are we gonna do it? Daniel, you said we got to get rid of Jeff after this year. Why so? Why do you think so? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the beginning of the year, I was all for Mark Jackson, them getting rid of him and bringing in Mark Jackson. But I feel like he's done a decent job. You say he's Mike D'Antoni part 2. I don't know. I think we played good defense. I agree with him wanting the game to be a little bit more up tempo. I like to see us get up and down the floor. If we can get up and down the floor, we can push the ball up the floor. We'll be able to score easier. You know what I'm saying? We'll be able to score easier. We'll be able to score in a better rhythm. I don't mind that, and I think we do play defense. So, I'd like to see a little bit more of what you're getting at there. Kawhi Jennings, you say Jeff isn't the issue. Remember, this team didn't have high hopes coming into the season. I agree with you. We didn't have high hopes coming into the season. Coming into the season, we were, supposed to be straight up a lottery team, and we kind of defied the odds a little bit, and we're playing well. But we're at a point in the season where we can go backwards because this is an important stretch. Vincent, you say, just think we might have to give Burke a look if we fall off a little. He might be a spark. He might be. DJ, what's popping, brother? He might be a spark. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We do have a little bit of an update on Hardaway. Not much, but a little bit. Hopefully he'll be back, sometime during this stretch of road games. We'll see. Kyle McFarland, you say it's only just first season, not being forced to run a triangle needs time. I agree that he needs some time, and he deserves some time. I think he deserves some time. Especially after everything that happened with Phil Jackson and all that stuff. He deserves some time to show what he can do. And, we've made some strides, right, as a young team. We've made some strides. But, we got a lot to go. And we got to figure out how to deal. Early in the season, the fourth quarter execution wasn't a problem. Now we've hit a snag. Is it because Hardaway isn't here? When a key player from your team is out, it's only so long that you can, for most teams, it's only so long that you can keep up that level of play without that player there, right? Is it because Hardaway is there and now the cracks are really starting to show? Or is it, or are there other things happening and going on? Cruz Guerrero, Frank is not able to run the offense yet. Jerry Jack is getting exposed because he can't play defense. Frank, I'm going to agree with you. And in the fourth quarter, the play that I was talking about earlier where Frank had the ball at the top of the key, Courtney Lee was in the corner, and Porzingis was at the high post. Porzingis and Courtney Lee wasn't exactly sure what to do. And that's where Frank has to step in and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Let's go. Right? Being a young guy, it may be a little bit hard for him to do that. We needed some leadership down the stretch, and we didn't get it from anybody on the floor. And then when Jack does come in, he misses a free throw that could have tied the game for us. I don't know if it's a road thing because we're on the road, but fourth quarter execution the last few games hasn't been good. It's been terrible, and we got to figure it out. We need a leader to step up and help us figure out this fourth quarter thing. I thought, they had some days off to practice. I thought that they worked on some fourth quarter execution, but obviously They didn't work on it enough. Justin Remedy said, why not David Blatt or Hollins? I think those are names to look to keep on the back burner in the future, but I think we gotta let this play out and see what happens. I think we gotta let it play out, see what happens with Hornacek. I'm not gonna lie, I was for moving Hornacek at the beginning of the season when we were 0-3. I thought this guy doesn't have it, but he's proved. I feel like he's proved me wrong, in that he's been able to pull a lot out of this team, and I think we have more that we can prove. But we've got we've got a lot to work on, both offensively and defensively. But we got a lot to work on. Daniel, you're right. We can't defend the three. We have so much trouble defending that three. I talked about it in some earlier videos, and part of the problem starts at the point of attack, guarding the point guard. Which someone just said, Jared Jack is having trouble guarding guards. I agree. And then it also comes with guys, they cheat in the paint so much, it's hard for them to recover when the ball is swung. And part of the reason that they cheat in the paint so much is because point guards are penetrating. Not as much against Frank. Sometimes against Frank too, though. Sometimes they penetrate against Frank too. More so against Jared Jack. So guys are cheating in, the ball gets kicked out, and we can't recover. Why is Noah in a suit? I just don't think Jeff Hornacek has found the fit for him in the squad right now. Yeah. But what are we going to do about this fourth quarter execution? How do we fix it? I don't know. What does Jeff Hornacek have to do to fix it? I see a lot of people right now saying, hey, it's Jeff, but the guys on the floor got to play. The guards on the floor got to play. Not the guards, but the players on the floor got to play. And there were some times down the stretch where we just went one-on-one, and I'm pretty positive that's not what Hornacek wants him to do. He doesn't want him to just go one-on-one. He wants the ball to move. And right now, we're going to KP, Courtney Lee, and trying to let them create. And, that's not Courtney Lee's forte. He can create, but he's not our go-to guy. And the last few games is like he's been the go-to guy for some reason, somehow. We gotta figure this out in the fourth quarter. You're right about that, Daniel. If we don't give up the lead, then we're not having this conversation. We got to learn how to protect those leads, and we've been having problems with that all year long, protecting the lead. KP has to be aggressive. He has to be aggressive, but he has to be smart. There were a couple of times where KP, pulled a couple of questionable shots. He's got to be smart. I think in that fourth quarter, we got to work on continuing to have ball movement and not getting stuck. I think that's a big problem for us in the fourth quarter right now. And then understanding when we really get down the stretch, that last minute, the last 30 seconds, what's being called? What are we doing? Just knowing exactly what we're doing. We do need Timmy. We definitely need Timmy back. Who's Mark? Said we need Timmy. We definitely need Timmy back. Although some of the problems that we're having now, we had with Timmy as well. When Timmy was here, we were still giving up leads. So that's a problem that we haven't fixed. We may have had less problems in the fourth quarter, but we still lost on the road. Right? So there's some issues that are still here. Even though Timmy is, there's some issues that we're dealing with that was here while Timmy was playing, and they're here now. So it's a hallmark of this team. We can't win on the road, and right now, fourth quarter execution are two of our Achilles heels. You say, "Yay, boy." You said Trey is old. I don't think he's much better than Jack. Trey isn't that old. Trey is like 24, 25 years old. He's still a young guy. My thing with Trey is this. Maybe Trey Burke can give us a boost, but there is a reason that Trey Burke was available at the end of free agency and not on a team. There's a reason for that. And I'd like to know what that reason is. Okay, he's burning up the G League, but the teams aren't beating down the door, from what I know, to bring him up, right? So what are those reasons? We need to know what those reasons are. Now, can it hurt to bring him up and see, can he help us? No. Bring him up, see what happens. You can always send him back down. Bring him up and see what happens. But there's a reason that teams aren't beating down the door to get him, and there's a reason that he's in the G League. So discipline issues, that could be. And so, we don't know if maybe he's still having those kind of discipline issues. We don't know. That'd be good to find out. Maybe I can, maybe we can get in touch with the Westchester Knicks and see, what they're saying about Trey Burke. Yeah, A-Dub. We do. We have his bird rights, and but he's in the G League. If teams wanted him, it's happened before. If teams wanted him, they really wanted him, they trade for him, because you can trade for a player that is in the G League if another team has his rights. But think about it. Trey Burke was teams weren't beating down his door to sign him before the season started. So there's something there. There's something there. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, exactly, Kawhi. The worst that can happen is we send them back down. That's true. That's the worst that can happen. Give him a run, see what happens. Maybe he provides a little spark and gets us going. We do need something to spark us, though, because we're becoming stagnant and we have the same themes now are recurring every game, right? We're seeing the same things happen. Fourth quarter execution, giving up big leads, having a hard time defending the three-point line. The same things are happening over and over and over and over again. Other teams know this, and they're exploiting it. Damian Dotson. Well, he had a chance when Hardaway first went out, right? And he didn't really, he didn't play well, but can always give him another chance. I like Damian Dotson. I like his game. I think he's an athlete. We need more athletes on the floor because we don't really have a lot of athletes. We have good players, but not athletes. And he's definitely an athlete that can, he can get up. He can do some things for us, and he can play defense. So. We'll see. Who knows? Dougie Fresh started today, and he he didn't really do much. Yeah, Kyle, he didn't really do much. So who knows? Next game, we'll see what happens. Maybe Jeff is going to try something else to try to spark the team. But we definitely need a spark. Dotson, Rubio, those guys could be a spark. But we need something. He's got to pull something out of the team. This is what I don't like about back-to-backs. It's what I do and don't like about back-to-backs, right? If you're playing, you're not playing well, you're having some troubles, you don't get time to work on it, you got to go right into the next game, and those same troubles could move right into the next game. But if you're a mentally tough team and you're strong enough, you can't wait for that next game because you know you can change your fortunes that quick. I'm not sure we're that team right now, and now we're going from Chicago to San Antonio just like that. We've beaten some good teams, a couple of good teams at least, or decent teams. But San Antonio is going to be a tough one tomorrow. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, McDermott's a much better player off the bench. A-Dub, we'll see. It takes a little bit of time, he came in with the starters, and he's not really used to playing with the starters, starting the game. That's not what he's done. That's not his role with the team. So sometimes it takes a minute to get comfortable. If he starts tomorrow, who knows? Maybe he gets a little bit more comfortable. He got some shots. He just didn't hit them, right? I wouldn't mind Jeff doing it again to see if to see if maybe, his second start with the team, he's a little bit more comfortable, in his second start. I wouldn't mind him doing it again. FKP, you say you don't like the way Porzingis is playing. I'm interested to hear why. Tell me why. We do. V the number. We do usually play them well for some reason. Hopefully that trend continues. This is this really is a different team. So we'll see what happens. Fabrica, you say, how you doing, Fabrica? You say, are you sure Frank is not a bust? I'm pretty positive he's not a bust. I'm pretty positive. He's 19, and I know you probably hear that a lot, but he's a 19-year-old that turned 19 in July, I believe it was. So he won't turn 20 until next July. All the other rookies in the league, except for one, either turn 20 soon, turn 20 during the season, or they're already 20. He doesn't turn 20 until July. He's a kid. He is a kid. Yeah, he's fine. You don't have to worry about Frank. He's not going to be a bust. Yep. Porzingis is, we have to look at that. KP is a young guy. Frank is a young guy. We got a lot of newness to this team. Guys learning how to be leaders. KP learning how to be the man and deal with being the focal point of the team. So there's a lot of newness, and along with that is this fourth quarter execution because of the newness. Last year you basically knew we're gonna throw Melo the ball and that's it, right? We got to figure out what we're doing in this fourth quarter. Teams exposing Jared Jack. You know what, Pablo Frescobar? I felt that Rondo would have been a good guy for Frank as well. I did. I think that they had the same kind of mentality on the floor. Defensive guys, team first guys. I was just afraid of Rondo's combustibility. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi. He's a combustible guy. And I didn't think that Jeff Hornacek was the kind of coach that could deal with Rondo. That was my fear with Rondo. You say, don't ask for what you cannot get. Forget about Rondo. Jersey Shore said that. Hey, you know what? I hear you. We don't have to worry. We know he's not coming to the Knicks. I thought he would have been a good guy that could teach Frank, but I was also afraid of what would happen when he was with Hornacek. If Hornacek could actually control him, because Rondo, he's a head case sometimes. FKP said, I don't like relying on spot-up jumpers. Can we free him up to dunk on people? I don't like the backup fadeaway game. It's two Carmelo's. How else can his game work for the team? Well, excuse me. I think we've been saying a lot that we need to keep KP on the move, keep KP coming off screens, especially when he's playing bigger guys on him. And when he catches the ball, we've seen it some tonight, though. When he catches the ball in that mid-post area, instead of holding it and looking for a shot, because he doesn't have the power to really back somebody down much. He needs to catch that ball and be in his move to shoot. Catch it and be looking to get a shot up. We've seen him do it a couple times tonight. He'll catch the ball and move right into a shot. He's mobile, so you can have him have a lot of off-ball screens with him. Sometimes, man, we're using him a lot like Melo, and he's not that strong yet. A couple years he will be, but we don't want to develop him into. You want KP to be a guy that can play both ways, right? Because there's going to be times, regardless of what we want, there's going to be times when you need someone that you can just give the ball to go get a bucket, because the defense is going to be jamming you at every move. You need a guy that can do that. But that same guy also has to be someone that can move without the ball, keep the ball moving, play within the offense. But then when you really need it, go get you a bucket. But to answer your question, if we run more off-ball screens for him, keep him moving off the ball, and he's mobile enough to do it, I think it'll help KP get some easier buckets, and it'll keep, he's going to have big 4s and 5s on him. Tire those guys out, and hopefully possibly get those guys in foul trouble. And I think that's what you got to do. You got to keep KP moving. But then that also could tire KP out a little bit, but he's young enough, thin enough where he's in shape. KP needs help. KP is, he needs a little bit of help out there. The scoring is definitely down. I think that Jeff Hornacek wants to play up-tempo, play more up-tempo, and right now we're not playing as up-tempo. A couple videos back, we looked at the Knicks' pace, and they had one of the slower paces in the league. Their pace of play, and we need to pick it up, because we have some young guys, and we need to get the ball out and get up the floor. Get moving up the floor, try to get some easy buckets. We did it in the beginning of the game tonight. The first quarter, it looked good. We did it. We were getting out and running, and then we slowed down throughout the game. And some of that is due to habit, and we're going to have to continue to do it. And Hornacek's going to have to continue to coach it and preach it until it becomes habit that we get the ball out and get up the floor. Because Tim runs the floor well. Yep, he definitely does. Tim gets up and down the floor, and we miss that tremendously. We miss those transition baskets. Ken Sniffy, you're right. He's not Melo. He's not Melo, and he's not playing. He doesn't play like Melo. But a lot of the times, I think, we're throwing the ball down into him, as if he's just we're just throwing it to him in the mid post and asking him to go to work. I think that we need to keep him on the move a little bit. And let him get his shots on the move and taking quick shots. I don't mean quick shots as far as, it's just a couple of seconds into the shot clock. I mean, quick shots is, he's making a quick decision. Okay, I got the ball, I'm getting it up. Those type of things, because when we catch the ball in that mid post and we play around in the mid post, the offense stalls. And the ball's not moving anymore, man's not moving anymore, and it's much easier to play defense. One thing I think that we need to do, I see Jersey Shore say Jack is slow, KP is lazy. I don't know. I don't know if KP is lazy, but I thought when I was reading that, I thought you were getting ready to say something about Jack is too slow to play with KP. I think that we need Frank and KP playing more together. I think we need to see their length, their defense. I think it bothers teams. And I think Frank finds KP into a lot of times KP is wide open out that 3-point line when Frank is in the game, and Frank finds them. I like to see them two play a little bit more together so that they start, getting into a groove together. And I think it can be effective with them two together. And I think that Frank can find KP in some spots that maybe Jack can't, although Jack is a good passer. Now, I see you guys saying KP is lazy. Why do you say KP is lazy? Well, I mean, explain that one to me. Because I disagree with that. I don't think KP is lazy. Does he settle for shots? Yeah, I think every player does that. But I don't think he's a lazy player. So I like to see your reasoning behind that. Sign Jimmer for that? Nah, I'm good. I mean, what's he going to do? He's not much more than another 3-point shooter. Although we could maybe use someone to hit threes, but he's not going to, go to the basket and go get us a bucket. He said that would stop the Jack problem because Tyreek would have the ball at the end running the offense, and he is fearless and will take the game winner. I must have missed that one because I'm not sure what you're saying. So, this is what I want to ask you. As we're waiting for some of these replies here, are the team that we're starting to see now, is this the real Knicks? Is this the team that, as we said before, once you start getting to 20, 30 games, teams can now they game plan for you. They know what it is that you do and what you want to do. The game becomes harder. That's when you really start to see what your team is. Is this the real Knicks? Is this the real team this year? Or do we not know because Timmy's not here? So I like to see what you guys think about that. And while I'm getting the answers there, I see someone said, talk about KP being on the perimeter. He does have some problems on the perimeter, guarding guys on the perimeter, but I don't think it's due to laziness. I think it's, he's a young guy and he's got to learn, you still got to learn angles and those type of things in the NBA. He's 22. Let's remember that. He's 22. So you guys, crazy beats, I seen some other people say that this is the Knicks. This is the real Knicks. I hope not. You know what I'm saying? I hope we're just going through something. I hope that we are, eventually, we'll pick it back up. I'm a little nervous right now, though. Kyle McFarlane said, the Knicks we saw tonight was not that bad. Our only flaw tonight was poor fourth quarter offensive execution. Well, we definitely had poor fourth quarter execution. But let's go back and let's look at let's take a look at this real fast. Because I think we had some more issues other than that. We shot 40% from the field. That's not all fourth quarter execution, right? We shot 17.4% from three. That's not all fourth quarter execution either. We only scored, 87 points tonight. And we're a better scoring team than that, I think. I think we're a better scoring team than that. So those, when you look at those things, those are indicative of some other things going on within the team. And part of it could be, that Hardaway is out. You know, and now it's starting to really come to light that we're missing Hardaway. Yeah, Will's fourth quarter problems were on display against Philadelphia too, of course, definitely. But but I do agree that the fourth quarter was an issue. But we had some issues throughout the game. Even though we played well for most of the game, we didn't shoot well throughout the game, and that definitely hurt us. And some of that is because we had those times where we get stagnant and not and not move the ball. Yep, the team has a legit fear of the road. It seems like that, and it feels like that. And we're into a stretch now. 15 of 19 of the next 19 are on the road. It's a serious stretch that is going to make or break our season. It's going to make or break our season. Do we know when Hardaway is projected to start practicing? No. His timetable is still, there's still no timetable. Yeah, Marty, 17% from behind the arc killed us. There's still no timetable for Hardaway. Hardaway's, see if we can get a little update. And we'll skip the Hardaway and then we'll come back. We'll skip over the Hardaway real fast since someone brought it up, and then we'll come back. Because obviously, not having Hardaway is hurting us, is beginning to hurt us offensively. What Hardaway brings without getting some of the penetration that he was giving to us before he left, his transition offense, is hurting us. You say February for Hardaway? That's a ways off. That's our whole. If you're saying February for Hardaway, that's our whole road stretch. We're into a serious road stretch this month. That's the whole road stretch, and that'll be tough. That'll be tough. Let's see. I just seen something about Hardaway. Let's see what it's saying. Let's see what we're saying here. Finally, tangible proof Hardaway is getting better. The stress injury to Tim Hardaway Jr.'s lower left leg is taking ample time to heal, but he is making progress, albeit slowly. This is an article from the New York Post. Hardaway wasn't wearing a brace on his left leg as he took jump shots, went through shooting drills, and jumped off both legs after Knicks practice on Tuesday. He's moving more every day, says Coach Jeff Hornacek. So we're just monitoring him more, giving him a little bit of time to see how that stress injury or whatever it is responds when he puts a little weight on it. So it's a good sign to see that he's out there doing that. The Knicks are 6-6, but have lost 3 of the last 4 games without Hardaway, who was averaging 17.8 points per game. So we still don't see anything definite. That's just kind of a small update. At least he is practicing a little bit or beginning to, work out a little bit. I think there's something else on here. There's something else. Let's see if I can find that. There was something on SNY TV that talked a little bit more about Hardaway. Let's see if I can pull that up. All right. So let's see what we're saying. Hardaway's making progress. Same thing, basically the same thing. So we still don't have any timetable on Hardaway right now. Um, so we still don't have any timetable on Hardaway. I seen someone say February. If it's going to be February, man, we need him back before then. You say, I fear, blessed lover, you say, I fear Tim Hardaway, seeing all the losses, will come back and play hero ball. I hope not. You know, in the beginning of the season, it seemed like he was trying to take the team upon his back. He was forcing a lot. Hopefully he doesn't do that. I think that, you know, he was really starting to get into his groove and starting to find out where he fit into the offense. And I'm hoping, hopefully, maybe, you know, with him being on the bench, he actually sees it a little bit more. You know, hopefully he's paying attention from that aspect. You know, he's actually seeing the game a little bit differently from the bench, hopefully. Do I think it's time to start Frank? You know, I think it's getting close to that time because, like someone said earlier, the thing with Jack is maybe starting to run its course. I'm not going to say offensively because he still puts us in good spots, I think. And he does a better job commanding the team. But defensively, he's starting to get exposed a little bit. And so it could be time, you know, start Frank. And then, hey, it can't hurt to see what happens. Start him a couple of games, and if it doesn't work out, go back to what you were doing. You know, we need something to spruce us up. Something. You know, we need something to bring some fire out of us, especially on the road. You know, Kyle McFarland, you say they wanted Frank and Courtney Lee or Courtney in a future first round pick. I'm not sure what trade what trade you're talking about. I must have missed it. What trade is that you're talking about? Jersey Show, you say Frank is still not ready. Excuse me. You know, we'll never know unless we give it a go and try to find out. And see, like we said, we can always put him back on the bench. You know, Frank doesn't know how to play, period. Okay. Tell me why, DeMont. Tell me why. Why does Frank not know how to play? I'm very curious to hear your explanation for that. Very curious, because you're wrong, but I'd like to hear your explanation for that. But let's go back while I'm waiting for DeMant's explanation. I want to go back and see what you guys say about if this is the real Knicks. I know a lot of people say it is. I've seen some people say, let's hold the phone on that a little bit. It's just one game, but we've seen some trends. We've really started to see some trends. So, you know, what is this the team? Is this the real Knicks? That is on the other team's scouting report that Jack can't stay. Yeah, I'm sure it is, blessed lover. That's on the other team's. That's on their scouting report that he can't stay in front of other guards. You know, and they're starting to exploit it. You know, he has trouble recovering off of the screen and roll. They're exploiting it. You know, and they will continue to exploit it. You know, which is why maybe you could start to say, well, let's get Frank out there a little bit and see what happens. You know. No, you're right. It's a third. It's that's not the third straight loss. Is it? Yep, Detroit, Philadelphia. Yeah. I know. It's the third straight loss. You know, but I seen someone say, you know, it was this game, it was a bad game, or whatever they said, but yep, 3 losses in close games, which were winnable, but execution killed us. Exactly. Execution. In all 3 of these games, Detroit, Philadelphia, tonight, Chicago, execution killed us. And so the question still remains, is this who we are? Are we finally coming back down to who we are, and are we going to deal with these fourth quarter execution problems the whole season? Or are we simply going through a stretch where we're having a little bit of trouble and we'll come out of it? Because in the beginning of the season, we didn't have these same kind of issues in the fourth quarter as far as execution. As a matter of fact, we were pulling games out. We were pulling out close games in the fourth quarter. Now we're having sorry, I got a cold, guys. We're having serious problems, DeMond, as you say, makes too many mistakes under pressure. I just don't see why. But DeMond, you got to remember, the kid is 19 years old. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes. What do you expect him to do? And when he's in the game, he has the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to make mistakes. We can't expect him to be a perfect player just coming into the league at 19 years old. And he just turned 19 in July. He's been 19 for what, 5 months? We gotta let the kid grow a little bit before we say he's not gonna be any good. I straight up disagree with you. I believe he's going to be good, but you gotta get a guy a chance to get good. You say if we play better on the road, William Yanes. You say if we play better on the road, then it's the real Knicks. I don't know. We'll see if we can play better on the road. I don't know if we can. I'm not sure if we can play better on the road. We're excuse me. We right now, you're out. I seen something that just said later. All right, man, take it easy. Rest easy. We'll be back on tomorrow night. Exactly. Give Frank some time. Give Frank some time. Yeah, I think he might be a little harsh on him, man. We got to give him some time. We're gonna see some nights when he's gonna look like, oh man, this kid is gonna really, really be good. Then we're gonna see some nights where he's not looking so good. He'll grow into it. Nope, I want to keep JaVale McGee away from NYC. I'm good with Cantor. I want to keep him away from the Knicks. You said, Cecil, you'll wait till the All-Star break to decide. Well, around the All-Star break, this stretch right here will tell us. 15 of the next 19 games on the road, this stretch will tell us what we are. And yep, by the time we get to the All-Star game, this stretch will be over, and we'll know exactly where we stand. Ismail, you said, should we start tanking now or wait to be? I don't think you ever tank. I think you try to win, and you let the chips fall where they fall, and then you make good decisions. It's not about, I don't think it's about trying to always get the best player that's in the draft, because the draft is a crapshoot. I think it's more about management and how management can handle the cap, how they scout players. I was watching Golden State the other night, and the guy Bell starting for them, rookie, and they didn't have a number 1 draft pick, and they got a rookie starting, because Curry is out. I think it takes good management, good scouting, good player development to develop a good team, not tanking. So no, I don't think we tank now. I don't think we tank. I don't think we ever tank. Yeah, I agree, William. We need a small forward. We need one of them small forward guys, a good, long, athletic, small forward that can come in and really ball for us. Let's talk Knicks Spurs. What do you guys think about this game here? A little bit earlier, we talked about, we touched on it a little bit earlier. Yeah, traded, exactly, Kawhi. They traded for Jordan Bell, too. Right. And teams like the Warriors now, the Spurs that we're getting ready to play, they stay on top through player development, through making smart cap decisions. Not just trying to get the top players in the draft, right? They make smart cap decisions. They develop their players. They have good scouting. That's the way, and that's the way that they stay on top. And everyone says, "Wow, how did they get this player? How did they get that player?" It's because of those things. Good management. Good management. Ken Sniffy Jr., you say loss. You know what? We've said that before, though, right? With the Knicks and teams, and we've said it with the Spurs before. Straight up just said loss. We'll see. You never know. Did the Knicks? I think the Knicks beat the Spurs last year, I believe. Not sure, but I think we did. Different team, of course. It's going to be, it has the chance to be a rough game for us. But like James is saying, we usually play well against the Spurs. Kawhi's back. He's getting on track. Yep. Tony Parker is back. He was out at the beginning of the season. He's back. So, let's take a look at some of the matchups. Justin, you say what happened to Doug? I really wanted Doug to play a good game tonight. Yeah, Monty, we did beat the Spurs last year. Yep. I wanted Doug to play a good game. I think that, usually Doug is playing with the guys off the bench. That's who you get most of your minutes with. And then you come in and now you're playing with the starters. It takes a little bit of time to understand where you're going to get the ball, where you're going to see the ball, the little intricacies of each player. Sometimes it takes that kind of, it takes that in order to fit in. So, maybe that's something that Dougie was going through a little bit tonight. And if he starts again tomorrow night, maybe we'll see, a better Dougie. I hope we see a better Dougie. Now Dougie's not the kind of three-man that I think we need. I think he's the perfect bench player. I think we need someone who's a little bit longer, a little bit more tenacious, someone who can penetrate a little bit better. Dougie is kind of, excuse me, guys. Dougie is kind of, the catch, catch off the catch and shoot cutter. He cuts a lot to the basket, gets the ball cut and catch and shoot. He can get up and dunk the ball, but he's not as athletic as some of the guys that I'm picturing. Tony Crow, what's up, bro? All kind of problems down the stretch. Yeah, we've been harping on it the whole show, man. We about to get into this Knicks Spurs, though, and talk about that game a little bit. Because, that's going to be an important one for us. We definitely don't want to dip below 500. The last game we played them, totally different teams, of course. We lost 106-98. So this will be the first time that we play them this year. Let's take a look. Let's just take a look at the Spurs and see exactly what the Spurs are doing this year. We know that Kawhi's back and he's getting in shape. Looks like they got their whole squad back, to tell you the truth. You say, Cece, you say we're gonna get one in Texas. I would love it. I'd love for us to get one in Texas. If we can go there, if we went to Texas, if we went to San Antonio and pulled out a win, that could jumpstart us on the road because there's nothing better for a confidence builder. 24th in points per game, but Kawhi's been out most of the season, so you're definitely going to see a different team. 10th in rebounds per game, 19th in assists. Again, Tony Parker spent some time out. And not that Tony Parker is a big assist getter, but he keeps the offense moving, right? So what we see with the assists, maybe a little bit different. Now you look here, opponents' points per game, first, right? So you know what we're dealing with when you talk about the Spurs. You're always going to deal with a team that's, they give up 100. They give up 100. 98 points. Opponents, they give up 98 points a game. Now we've been having trouble scoring. Right. So you know what we're dealing with. They're always going to be a good defensive team. And so we're going to have to keep the ball moving against the Spurs. If we get into this one-on-one, trying to go one-on-one thing, we're going to be in trouble. We want to keep that ball moving. See if Cantor can get some buckets against Aldridge down low. Maybe go to him. Maybe try to get Aldridge out the game. I have a feeling that Jeff Hornacek will probably go back to Thomas starting to match up against Kawhi Leonard. So Dougie will probably go back to the bench. Let's see. Let's look at the Spurs. Let's look at what their starting lineups are right now. See if I can find one of their games. Let's go back a couple of days. All right, let's see. So they are starting Parker, Green, Gasol, Aldridge, and Leonard. So I'm thinking Jeff Hornacek will probably put Courtney Lee on. I don't know. He'll probably put Jack on Tony Parker, Courtney Lee on Danny Green. I think Cantor be on LaMarcus Aldridge. And maybe KP on Gasol, and then Thomas on Kawhi Leonard, most likely. That's what I'm thinking. That's going to be, and then, man, coming off the bench, you got Manu Ginobili, you got Rudy Gay. They got some guys coming off the bench. It's definitely going to be one of those tough matchups for us going into San Antonio. What'd you say? Burton's is a good. Let Frank one game. What do you mean, Marty? You saying let Frank start one game? You said let Frank one game. What do you mean? What are you saying there? Phillips, I agree. The Knicks, we don't have many athletes. We need to get more athletes on the team, which is why I think we need a 3-man that's very athletic. Yeah, let Frank start one game. I'd like to see him start one game. Do you think they do it against San Antonio, though? I don't know. The one thing we've seen is that Frank, against some of the bigger name teams and bigger stars, sometimes he maybe gets starstruck. I don't know. But I'd like to see him get a start. Not sure if he's going to get a start against San Antonio, though. Yeah. But I like to see it. Zach, you see, our problem is our point guard play, and we need a small forward. Yeah. I think I think you hit something on the head. I think that we need more penetration from Frank. We need to see him get into the lane a little bit more. We need better defense from Jarrett Jack. It's not awful, but it can be better and it should be better. We need more penetration. We need more penetration from our guard spot. And then from a three-man, we need a three-man that's athletic, can shoot the three, and play defense, and is long. So those are some places that we need that a little bit, and it would definitely help us out tomorrow night. But we're not going to have that tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is going to be who we have, and I seen someone earlier say it's going to come down to coaching. If it comes down to coaching, then we'll probably be in trouble because there's not a better coach than Greg Pop out there. What I would like to see is for us to stay in the game, play aggressive defensively, keep the ball moving on offense. We got to get rid of letting the ball stall, keep the ball moving on offense. Take care of the ball, not turn it over. We did a good job. We've been doing a good job recently of taking care of the ball. We got to continue to take care of the ball, so that we don't want to let San Antonio get easy buckets, and then take it from there, and of course play hard every possession, to try to stay in the game and to see if we can steal one at the end. But the way we've been playing in the fourth quarter, it's gonna be tough. Yeah, okay, Ishmael. I'm glad that's a joke. I'm glad I know that you're joking, because I'd be concerned if you weren't. Definitely would be concerned. Yep, the Spurs move the ball well, so defensively we're gonna have to be there. James, we're gonna have to. The Knicks definitely should take notes. You're right. The Knicks should definitely take notes. But we're going to have to play defense 48 minutes. We're not going to be able to take any breaks. You know what I'm saying? Daniel was, harping on the fourth quarter defense. We can't have any kind of fourth quarter breakdowns. Or we got to limit those fourth quarter breakdowns. So we definitely need to take notes on how they move the ball and also play defense. On them moving the ball, because they're going to be playing, they move the ball. We're going to have to be, throughout the whole game, we're going to have to be on point defensively. Marty, you say the Bulls played really good defense at the end. We had no other options but the ISO. But you can still, even when they're playing good, tough defense, you can do some off-ball screening. You can do some screen and rolls. We kind of just threw the ball to KP and just, or gave it to Courtney Lee and said, go for it. But I understand what you're saying, Marty. There are times when we're going to have to do that. And we need them guys, KP's got to be that guy that goes and gets it then. If that's going to be the case, KP's got to go get it. But I still think we could have moved the ball a little bit more. Even if we're going to ISO, I think we can move the ball so that we're not just coming down and just throwing it to him and everyone's standing there watching. I think we can move the ball, have him come off of a screen to get the ball in that mid post where the defense is moving. Now he can make a quick decision. He doesn't have to catch the ball and feel where the defense is. He's catching it on the move. He can get it and still ISO quickly and make a quicker move. I think there's a way that you can mix both of those in there. That's that's something that we're working on, because I seen him take some quicker shots tonight. And he'll figure out, and we'll figure out better ways to score in that fourth quarter, I think. But we're gonna have a tough game tomorrow night. Knicks got to be focused. James, you said Knicks are not focused enough on both sides of the ball. The hints of them blowing leads. We need a spark to shake things up. I don't think it can. I don't think we can get any worse. I don't know. You say you don't. You say you don't think it can get any worse. I'm not sure about that. I think it could get worse if we continue to do those things that you're saying. If we continue to blow leads, we don't find a spark. Bad fourth quarter execution. I think it'll get a lot worse as far as our record is concerned. A lot worse. You say KP didn't want the last shot. You know what, Jersey Shore? I seen him and Courtney Lee kind of like looking at each other on the court. I talked about it a little bit earlier, looking at each other on the court. They wasn't sure what to do. There was some confusion there. There's some confusion happening in the fourth quarter execution. And we need someone to step up to tell people what to do. Or at least stop the. And they're going to be tired from tonight's game and travel. Yeah, you know, bless Lover. They play tonight and then travel to San Antonio. Yeah, that's tough. And, you know, that's a little bit tough for them. And there's a little bit of a. I think I don't know if there's a little bit of a time difference, maybe an hour time difference between Chicago and San Antonio or something, maybe. I'm not sure. But it's going to be a rough one for them. Niggas going to give you a stroke for New Year's. Right. Yeah. They'll probably give me a stroke too. Jersey Shore, you say this is why we can't start Frank. You're saying we can't start Frank because it's a back-to-back and it's travel, or because we're playing San Antonio? Molly Knicks, you say KP was using the backboard more earlier in the season. I don't know why he stopped. Yeah, I don't know why either. And, you know, this is why my daughter and I were actually talking about this earlier. This is why you have coaches, all these assistant coaches in the league. I'm seeing players, you know, you see players start to do a few different things on the court. You know, they start off the season doing one thing, and then they move into doing something different throughout the season. And, you know, you have coaches there to tell them, hey, you got to get back to this. Look at what you're doing. You know, you're doing this. Get that. See that ugly person behind me? What was that?
I heard my name.
I didn't say your name. I said my daughter.
That's me.
She thinks she knows basketball, y'all, but she can't even put her head in the screen.
My head is in the screen.
But, see, you made me lose my train of thought. She messing up the show, man. She made me lose my train of thought. Nah, I guess I'm on to the next one now. Oh, Jersey Shore, you say he's not ready to lead. You know, I mean, at some point, you're just going to have to throw him the keys and throw him out there. I wouldn't mind just seeing what he does for one game. I don't know if you do it against San Antonio, but I wouldn't mind, you know, just seeing for one game, seeing how it works, seeing how it looks, you know. But if you look at the fourth quarter execution, maybe he's not ready, Jersey, because you know, you need somebody to take command, and I'm not sure he really took command. I got that Hornacek cough now. Yeah, I know, man. Team is it's taking a toll. It's starting to take a toll on me, Justin. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand to lose. I hate losing. It makes me mad and it bothers me. Frank has second round talent. Should have taken. I'm not even going to get into that. Not even going to get into it, Phillips. Not even going to get into it. You know, I disagree with you, but I'm not going to get into it right now. Frank shouldn't be starting his first ever game on the road. That needs to happen at MSG. Maybe, but I think, you know, I think you do what you got to do. But, you know, that's I understand what you're saying, though. You know, you start him at home where he's going to be a little bit more comfortable. I get you. I get you. To come in and improve the team, that's what the draft gives the team more or less. JJP, I get you, but I don't think you gotta tank to do it. You know, you can still get young players. You know, I don't think you got to tank to try to get the top pick in the draft. I think you try to win. Your team learns more by trying to win. Yeah, Wills, I know. Throw Frank in the water and let him swim. Yeah, I mean, at some point they're gonna have to throw him out there. You know, yeah. You said, sorry I'm late to the discussion. It's cool, bro. But give your thoughts on whether this team. I gave my thoughts earlier, man. No, I don't think we ever tank. That's just me. I don't think you ever tank. I think you always try to win. I think that tanking develops a losing culture, you know, a losing mentality in players. I think players know when you're tanking, and they know when you are, they know when you're tanking. And so if they know you're tanking, why would they bring their 100% effort to the game? Why would they come to the game like, I'm going to try to win this? Or why would they prepare accordingly? You know, I think when you're trying to win, you're training players to train accordingly, prepare their bodies accordingly, prepare their mind accordingly, to watch film. You know, you're training how to do those things, and you are learning and teaching winning habits, right? And we talked about this before, habits. The habits that you develop as a player, as a person, they come out when the pressure is on. So if you've developed losing habits, when you do start to win some games and the pressure is on, your losing habits is going to come out. You got to develop winning habits. And that's why I think you always try to win. You don't try to tank. And I think you will be rewarded for trying to win and doing the right things and having a well-run management team. I think you'll win. You know, most teams in the NBA that are winning now, they didn't do it by tanking, right? They did it by drafting correctly, by developing players, and by scouting and managing their cap. That's how they did it. And that's how I think we should do it. And I think we have a front office that has the same type of mindset. Marlon, Timmy, we don't know. No timeline for Timmy right now. Yep. Now, I want to answer whoever it was. I didn't see who it was. I seen who it was, but he was talking about Frank. And yes, I do think Frank is the point guard of the future for this team. You know, if you're looking for guys that are going to put up 20 points every night, that's not going to be him. But that's not going to be the point guards of the future in this league, in my opinion. I think you're going to see more guys like Frank and Lonzo Ball and Ben Simmons. I think those are, excuse me again, I think those are the kind of point guards that you're going to see. So I think we should get used to it, because those are the kind of guards that we're going to see for the season, for the future of this league. Guys that are all around, guys that like to run a team, get other people involved. Phillips, I believe it was you. You got to remember the kid is 19, just turned 19 in January. In July. He's a young kid, really young. He's got way less basketball experience than all those other guys that you're probably preparing him to. So you can think Frank is really bad if you like. That's cool, right? But I can guarantee you, this chat and this channel is gonna be around for a while. You come back in here 2 to 3 years, and we'll talk about Frank again. Facilitators, exactly, Jersey Shore. Facilitators, and that's what the league is going to. guys that can average a triple-double. You know, guys that are triple-double type point guards. The league is going to those kind of guys because the way the game is played today, you need a guard that can do it. You need a guard that can go out and play a full and complete game. That's what we got in Frank, I believe. So, that argument, people like to come in and argue about it. That's what I think about. Think about people who think Frank is bad. Yeah, everyone, they forget it. They forget it. Yeah, right. Frank, yeah. Look, Fultz right now, he's injured. He's out. He wasn't doing much while he was here. He'll be all right. Frank is a limited role player. We'll see. We'll see. I disagree with you. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star, but I definitely think he's a starter in this league. We'll see. We need a real point guard. Who's your idea of a real point guard? You forget that we're in the, we're not trying to go out. We're not trying to go out and spend a whole lot of money right now, unless something amazing comes to us. We're not trying to go out and spend a whole lot of money. We're young. We're trying to get a nice cap situation by the year 2020, so then we can really put together a strong team. Oh, Rodney Blaze, you are correct. He needs to penetrate more. He needs to get into that mindset of taking it to the hoop. You know what I'm saying? There's so many times when he has the chance and he's has the ability. He has the ability to do it, and he has the opportunities. He doesn't always take them. He needs to learn how to take them a little bit more. You seen he went to the basket nice tonight, once or twice. And we've seen him get a little bit more aggressive. And it's about him changing his mindset a little bit more. Changing his mindset a little bit more from just a distributor to also a scorer. And when he does that, you'll see him score a little bit more. But yes, he does need to be more aggressive going to the basket. We could use Dotson's offense a little bit. We could also use his athleticism. He kind of stuttered a little bit though when he got a chance to start earlier. He got a chance to start when Hardaway went out. He didn't produce. We'll see if maybe he gets it again. If he gets that chance again. BNN, man, Lance is not an offensive guy. He's always looked lost. He plays defense though. And sometimes he comes through with some big baskets, but, he does play defense. Yeah, Phillips. I see what you said about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, he's a nice player. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm not clamoring over anybody else's player. I actually liked two guys in the draft. I liked Frank and I liked Donovan Mitchell. I'm not going to lie. I did like Donovan Mitchell. I wanted Frank. You know what I'm saying? I wanted Frank because of his age and his length. So, yeah. Donovan Mitchell is nice. He's cool. That's good. But I like Frank, and I like what Frank gives us, and I like Frank for the long run. You said Lost is being kind with Lance. Yeah, sometimes, I don't know. And offensively, Frank, I'm sorry, Lance he's not going to give us much. But, he does give us defense and he gives us work. He gives us hard work and hustle. I respect that from Lance. I wish he would knock down some of them open threes sometimes that guys get them, but, Rodney, you say you appreciate everything about his game besides the fact he does not attack more. About Zeke, Zeke who? Rodney Blaze, Zeke who? Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Isaiah Thomas? And yes, Phillips, I am serious. I'm very serious. And I tell you why, Phillips. I'm serious. Um, I I'll get to you, Rodney. I'll tell you why I'm serious. I believe that in the future, point guards are going to be long. You look at Ben Simmons. You look at Lonzo Ball. You look at Frank. These guys are going to be long. You know what I'm saying? Long point guards that like to um, distribute the ball, get players involved, that can be all-around players. Frank fits that prototype. We were drafting. We weren't trying to win now. We were drafting for the future. You know what I'm saying? And I think Frank is going to be your future, the prototype type of point guard in the future. You know what I'm saying? Frank fits that mold of the type of point guards that's going to be here in the future. And that's why I liked him. And he's 19. I mean, at the draft, he was 18 when he was drafted. You know what I'm saying? Hey, get that man some time. Rodney Blaze. So you said Isaiah Thomas. I like Isaiah Thomas. I think he's a good ball player. I don't like his size. I like what he can do. I like his heart. But his size is it concerns me because it creates so many mismatches for the other team. You know what I mean? It just creates so many mismatches. His size really concerns me when you talk about Isaiah Thomas. And going with what I was just saying about point guards being longer in the future, Isaiah Thomas is small, man, really small. So that concerns me about Isaiah Thomas. Rodney, you say you think Frank is a 2? I think Frank can play the 1 or the 2. I think in the in the future, Frank he'll be able to run the offense a little bit better because he's gonna he'll have a little bit more respect to command the offense. And he can slide over to the 2, and I actually think one day he'll be able to play the 3. You know what I'm saying? I for one think that Frank is going to continue to grow. And I think that I think that Frank will. He's 6'5" now. I think it's possible that Frank could be 6'7" and one day be a 6'7" point guard. So that's what I think. That's what I think. Yeah, he can play both 1 or 2. And a lot of people right now are looking at guys, rookies who are doing this and that in the league, and they're not asking themselves. You got to ask yourself too. You might see a player coming in and is having a monster year as a rookie, like Brandon Jennings did, and then ask yourself, what is the player's ceiling, right? Is the player going to get better for another year and then plateau? Or is this guy really going to continue to ascend? When we're looking at Donovan Mitchell, I don't know. He may get better. He's 21 years old. He's got 2 years on Frank. He's been playing a lot more basketball than Frank. He could continue to ascend. You know what I'm saying? And get better. But when you get to about 23 years old, 24, most players, 23, 24, you're kind of the player that you're going to be for the most part. You figure, look at the life of an NBA player. At 32 years old, you're on the downside. So around 24 years old, you're about the player that you're going to be. You get smarter, and from like 28 to 24, 25 to 29, is like around your peak years or something like that, or maybe to 30. Um, you know, so you have Frank in the NBA now, who's 19, still has 5 years before he gets to that 24, 25. He has a while to go before he's going to be the player that he's going to be. Some of these guys, like you're saying, Jersey Shore, 22, 23, they're very close to being that guy that they're going to be. So when they're coming in and they're producing the way they're producing, you're like, okay, yeah, they're having a great year as a rookie, but they may be approaching the player that they're going to be. And they'll get a little bit better during those peak years. They get better as they get smarter too, of course. And you got to look at that. I like Donovan Mitchell. I really do. I like him a lot. But looking at the where we were as a team, Frank was my guy. Roddy Blaze, you said last thought, Russ. Then I'll just watch. Appreciate you getting back to me quickly. No problem, bro. I am first-time viewer. This is pretty dope. Appreciate it. And we're doing a lot more to try to grow. Hopefully we're going to be able to get some phone calls in, some Skype in, and stuff like that. So I appreciate you jumping on, Rodney. Please tell me that you realize how trash Jeff Hornacek is. We need Mark Jackson, no? Well, in the beginning of the season, I was all over Hornacek. I was like, man, this guy is terrible. I didn't like his rotations. But as time went on, I started to see that he was holding guys accountable, and guys were responding because of it. And I think that he's done a better job. He's done a better job. I do like Mark Jackson for this team. I really do. I'm not going to lie. I really think that Mark Jackson could do wonders with these guys. I think that Mark Jackson would really have these guys disciplined, but I do think that Jeff Hornacek has done a better job than I expected. I think Jeff Hornacek has, he's been holding the guys accountable. Could he make some better lineup adjustments and things like that? Of course he could. But I'm okay with what he's done so far, but I'm watching him closely. And I want to see how we respond over this stretch of 15 of the next 15 to 19 games on the road. And I want to see how he responds to our fourth quarter execution. Yeah. But I do understand your issues with him. You know what I'm saying? I thought that too, JJP. I thought Hornacek was pretty soft. But he has held guys accountable. You got to give him that. And I just seen somebody say that another person say the channel is pretty dope. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, we're gonna continue to grow this channel. We got a lot of things in store. Hopefully we'll have some meetups and some different things like that. So we're gonna continue to build this channel up. James, you said Scott Perry should try to bring in more players that fit just rotation and get rid of these triangle guys. I think eventually they'll bring in some players that Jeff Hornacek likes, that are Jeff Hornacek type guys. But I think like when we say triangle guys, a triangle guy, I think, is a guy that's versatile, because to play in a triangle, when you look at, in the past, Phil Jackson, when he had the triangle with teams, he tried to find players that were versatile and could do multiple things on the court. I think that's the kind of players you want, even when you're playing, especially if you're playing an up-tempo game. You really want to have anyone can grab the rebound and go when you're playing an up-tempo game. Now, the one thing that Phil Jackson did like to try to get is post players, guys that can score out of the low post and pass from the high post, but as far as the guards are concerned, I think that uh, uh, if you have guys that are versatile from your point guard to your 3-man and even your 4-man, if you have guys that are versatile, I think they can play in any system. And we have some guys that are versatile. That's a good question, Timothy. How come nobody else wants Mark Jackson? That's a pretty good question. I seen somebody, I think it was Jersey Shore, answer it a little bit earlier, say, something about, talk about the religious issues. And I don't know the whole story behind it, but there's definitely some things there that I think is maybe holding him back from having a position. But I still think that he could do a good job with our guys. I think that just from the discipline aspect of the game, he could. I'm pretty sure they'll look into his character before they did anything. I don't know. We'll see. But right now, I'm willing to go ahead and give Hornacek the chance to continue to play, continue to coach. Because I think he's done a good job up until now. Although I was a little nervous at the beginning of the season, I think he's done a really good job up until now. Marlon, you say Steve Kerr runs some triangle at times in his hybrid system, so it's not all a bad thing. Yes, he does. And I think almost everybody in the league does. They run some triangle action. When you see the ball going to the high post and you got a guy in the corner, then you got a guy in the wing, that's triangle action right there. When you see the ball going to the high post and the point guard cut past the high post and go over into the corner, that's triangle action. The thing with Phil is he wanted that same thing every time down the floor, and it was super predictable. Tyon, I agree with you. Got to stop firing coaches. We need to get something that we need to be a little bit stable and let some things play out for a little bit. We need that stability. You know what I'm saying? That that's how when you look at the Spurs, man, they are as good as they are because of the stability of the team and the organization. You know what I'm saying? Pop's been the coach for over 20 years, and so players like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, they know the system, they know the culture, and as new players come in, they know the culture, and they're not gonna step outside of that culture. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they end up continuously getting good players. And we look and say, how do they keep getting players? Because they have a culture that develops players. They have a culture that when people step in, they're like, okay, I'm not going to step outside of this culture. I'm not going to step outside of what we do. I'm going to fall in line with what we do. You seen it when Steven Jackson was there. And when Steven Jackson started messing up, Pop was like, we don't need him. That's how those type of teams do it. And that's what we need to establish here. Yep, exactly, Kawhi. Spurs got one superstar and they were winning without him, right? Because they developed a culture, and they had, they're a true definition of a team. They're like I hate to say it, because I'm a Giants fan, but they're like the Patriots. The Patriots have the same kind of culture, which allows them to be good. They allow them to be. They have the right kind of culture and system that allows them to be good continuously year after year, and people can step in. Tom Brady's out, somebody steps in, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, who is this quarterback that's just stepping in and playing like Tom Brady? And that's what we need to develop here. And if you're constantly switching up coaches and management, and you'll never develop it. We need to have a long-term look at what's going on, not a short-term view, and really put some of our money into uh, developing our management, developing our player development program, and those type of things. Yep. You said the Patriots have an alt-right culture. I'm not even going to get into that. They have a culture of winning football, though. Jersey Shore, you said, that's what's wrong with the Skins. You know what? You're right, bro. And I live right outside D.C. That is what's wrong with the Skins, man. And the Knicks have been the Redskins of the NBA. The Kings just beat the Cavs, and Vince Carter had 24. Wow. Vince Carter. Old man. Still getting it. What's Vince Carter, like 40, 41 years old? Still out there getting it? I like that. That makes me feel good because I'm 41. Marlon Johnson, you said, wow. What's that? Yep. Yeah. Kings went ahead and put it on them. Vince Carter, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. That's what's up. Old man Vince Carter. Hey, well, listen, guys. I'm going to go ahead and log off tonight. It's kind of late. Got to get up. Got some things I got to do tomorrow. But I'll definitely be on after the San Antonio game tomorrow night. Okay, I'll end it with that. BN says, thoughts on the short-term solution for our issues, whether it's players, system, or coaching. I think that the short-term solution for our issues, I think that it is a combination of players and coaching. I think that when we talk about players, I think that it is one, we have injuries. Tim Hardaway is a big part of what Jeff Hornacek likes to do as far as getting the ball up the floor, scoring early in transition. I think that hurts us. And I think that players are still kind of they're still learning the system a little bit, and I think Jeff Hornacek put in some things to try to get us to go up tempo, and players are learning each other. So right now, with what we've seen with KP and Courtney Lee tonight, at the end of the game, where they was kind of indecisive about who's going to do what on the floor. I think there was a little bit of indecision as far as roles are concerned. So players are still learning their roles. Have you ever heard the saying, the forming, storming, norming, and performing, right? With this team, and so what that is when you talk about forming, storming, norming, and performing. Storming is when you're figuring out who has what roles. Forming is when a team forms. That's the first thing. A team forms. They form together. Storming, that's when the team is figuring out who has what roles, right? Who's the leader? Who does this? Who does that? And then you get into norming. Norming is when things are now normal. You know who does what. You know who has what roles on the team, and it's normal to you. And then the team starts performing. And I think right now we're still in the storming stage, especially with Hardaway out. We're still learning who does what. We're still learning our roles on the team. We talked before about the first 20 games. The team is trying to they're building a foundation, and then the next 20 games is when they're developing an identity. who they are as a team. And I think we are in the midst of developing our identity. So for as far as our short term, what's happening now, I think it's all of us. It's the team, it's the players, it's the coaches. Everyone's still trying to figure out what their roles are. We're in that storming stage, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow night. I have a nice little graphic up to kind of break it down, and then so I think what we've got to do short term, we've got to figure out who's going to do what, especially in that fourth quarter. We've got to know what roles we have, who's going to make certain decisions on the floor and be in certain spots, especially in the fourth quarter. And Hornacek, because we're in that storming stage, he's still learning what players can do what. That's why you see him moving pieces in and out, especially with Hardaway out, moving pieces in and out, trying to figure out who can do what and who can give us production at certain points of the game, and who can be a spark, some things like that. So I think in the short term, though, I think Jeff Hornacek is going to have to settle in on the players that he trusts and use them, especially in this stretch. I think he may need to have a short bench. If he finds someone that sparks us, he got to ride them, because we need these wins right now. So he may need to have a short bench of players that's going to produce and perform when they're out there on the floor, and he might need to have a short leash. But he's got to know what he wants and settle in on the players that we have right now without Hardaway that's going to give him what he wants. Hopefully you'll be on tomorrow night and we can talk about it a little bit more, because I'm going to log off. We can talk about it a little bit more. Please bring that question again tomorrow night, so we can talk about it a little bit more. All right. So I'm going to log off. It was a good talk, and I'm excited to be, I took a game off. I was tempted to come on Christmas after the game, but I decided to go ahead and take a break, let you guys get a break. So tomorrow night, I will be back on, and I look forward to talking to you guys. You guys rest easy, sleep easy, and I'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace.